All right, race fans, welcome on tonight here at Kentucky Clean Racing League. And we're kicking off the chase here tonight. That's right, the road to crowning a champion here at the Clean Racing League. And starting off at a pretty good track, too. I really like Kentucky. Is one of the tracks that I actually started racing on when I started iRacing. So, really familiar with it. It has done a little bit of change over the years, because that's been quite a bit. But Caleb, it should be a good track. The problem with this track is very hard to pass. Tires, man, wear out in the long run. And it's one of these places where I don't know. I think pit strategy might come into play.
Yeah, I mean, if we end up going green like we did last week at Atlanta, it's definitely going to the pit strategy definitely is going to play a part in what's going to happen in this race. But like you were saying earlier, first race of the round of 12, and Joshua Alt is coming in plus 15 on the cut line with the races and the bonus points he took home in the regular season. So as long as he can just keep it safe these first two races, he should be fine, because I think it's Kentucky Darlington. These are the first two races of the round of 12. But tonight I think it's going to be managing tires. I ran a few laps in practice. Going into turn one, it's full throttle.
Yeah,
you can hammer down and come off the corner, and you're going to be right next to the wall if you do it right. With 30 so trucks, I don't think that's going to be the case at all. You're going to see a lot of pedaling back. But going into turn three is deceiving. Because it's much larger than turn 1 and 2, but it feels much sharper, and the truck kind of just wants to glide up the racetrack. So we're really gonna see all these drivers kind of manage this race, and then hopefully we can go green and see some green flag pit stops, and see who can come out on top tonight.
Yeah, and I'll go along with what you're saying there. This track tends to be kind of a one groove after a while. At the start. So, I go back to that old saying I say a lot of is be semi-aggressive, or kind of aggressive conservative. You got to be aggressive a little bit at the start, but kind of be conservative there, because I think this track is one of these where, like what you said, the tires will wear off as the run goes on. And from what I remember, and again, I know things have changed over the years, but from what I remember, I don't think that this track pretty much races about the same still. You get pretty slick out here with these tires. So you're going to see guys, man, that might run it too hard, like you said, at the beginning of the run. And then by the time that end of or middle end of the run, if you've taken it easy, you'll just start, one by one, knocking them off through the field. But, as far as us seeing what we did last week in Atlanta, it's going to be a total different opposite style race. Plate racing is not going to be the deal here at this track.
No, and you're going to see drivers, as the tires wear, you're going to see them start slipping and sliding, like you were saying, but I feel like we're as we see the playoff drivers, you can tell our playoff drivers by the yellow, yep, which is very nice of them. Really helps us up here in the booth. Helps the viewers. But from everything I've seen and driven on this track, about 5-10 laps, you're really going to see who overdrove it, underdrove it, and who's really just pedaling the car. You're going to see some trucks get sideways coming off turn 2. That seems like the big trouble spot here. Seen a lot of that in practice. That wall kind of sneaks up on you. I don't think we're going to see any of that full throttle action like we've seen in qualifying with them. But I think
you talk about turn 3 there. You was talking about turn. It kind of gives you a word I'm looking for is
it's deceiving.
Yes, because you think that you can drive down the inside, but then that thing takes you up the track like it almost does like a Charlotte. But pace truck's in, we're going green. First race of the playoffs here, Clean Racing League. We got Sherwood out front, going to lead them to the line. He took it on pole here tonight with tracks right there beside him. Green flag in the air. We're racing here at Kentucky.
Yeah, and you know, Rob Sherwood, who doesn't, you know, he's +5 on the cut line going into this race, and he's got Jacob Grant, who's -2. So two drivers that are in two different situations, you know, right now battling for the lead. With
Is it still win you're in, by the way?
absolutely.
Okay, I didn't know if they changed that or not.
No, it's if you win, you're in the
Justin
next round.
truck in a wall. It's doing Crank Bell wrecked, but I saw Justin Carey drop back. Benelli dropped back a little bit. Let's go back. We'll go back and look on Crank and see. Oh, just got a little contact there with the 21, and yeah.
Ooh.
Joe nowhere to go. He got up into the wall, and that's just that. It's just tight racing at the beginning. That's where I was talking about it. Remember, I said, you know, kind of be a little aggressive at the start, but you got to be conservative. Well, that's kind of in line on what I was talking about. You feel like you've got to maybe try to get a little bit at the start because you know this thing's going to get single file. But then again, you got to be in that conservative way. It looks like that truck just pushed it a little bit, got it in this, you know, quarter to one. Frank paid the price on that. It can happen quick here.
Yeah, and you know, it kind of goes back to what I was saying with the corner being deceiving. You know, it looks like it has all the room in the world. You throw it in there, and next thing you know, you're sliding up the track. And you know, hate it for Crank. You know, he won at Daytona earlier in the season, and you know, this is really going to put him back if he can't get onto the racetrack. It's really going to put him back in the points, and he's really going to have to recover for Darlington. I'm sure we'll see him back onto the track unless his car he's bent his steering and he really can't compete. But you know, unfortunate for one of our playoff drivers, and you know, Spinelli, who kind of got caught up in it.
You know, and we talk about too here with the playoffs. I'm going to say, if you're going to have a bad race, okay. If you're going to have a bad race, I would say have one at this race, because you might be able to bounce back. You know, if you start having them, you know, later on, yeah, it's going to be a little tougher to bounce back because, you know, these playoff series aren't that long of a series.
No, and you know, in real life, you have 3 races to kind of, you know, if you mess up one race, you kind of have those extra 2 races to kind of fall back on. Here, you only have the 2, and if you're not very good at the 2 tracks, then I mean, you're out of luck. You know, because this week Kentucky, next week Darlington. I know a lot of drivers do not like Darlington. When I was racing, I was one of them. Darlington is such a wild card when it comes to being competitive. You know, some drivers that could win every week struggle at Darlington. You know, so
a lot of guys coming on pit road.
Yeah, and we could see them just taking fuel.
Yeah, it looks like we got Kenny, Chris Smith, Zach Peterson, you know, Bob Stevenson, Paul Turner. It's some of the guys way back in the back, which you really got nothing to lose. You might as well come in and take a little bit of fuel. Why not? See Crank Bell come back on the track. The truck looks straight. You can see the back is a little, you know, bent. The good news is he hit flush with that wall. So maybe that didn't hurt the steering too bad or anything like we was talking about, or tow it out. We don't know. We're not in the truck, obviously. But he did hit kind of flush onto the wall, which if you're going to hit, that's probably the best way you want to hit, instead of maybe like a head-on or you know, backing into it or whatnot.
Yeah, and the only thing that's going to do is just make the car or the truck tighter over the course of the run.
Might help you.
Maybe.
You never know.
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll just have to see how the race progresses. As we have Grant and Sherwood on the front row leading us to green on the restart.
Pace trucks in. We're going back green. 2 playoff drivers up front. Sherwood, Grant along with it there. You got the Hostler hanging on in the backside with Trask. And we're not going to give it to one of the playoffs drivers right off. I mean, here tonight, you still got some other drivers looking for some wins here. As the green flag's back in the air, Grant gets a good jump out front. Like what you just said earlier, and from what I know on this track, you definitely want to get on that inside groove. Being on that outside is not where you want to be here at this place. I mean, you want to get down there, going in 1 and 2. You want to kind of, put your tires kind of down low, kind of like right down there with the number 9, Tyler Honeycutt, sitting at right now. And I say that, Caleb, but again, this track has changed a little characteristics over the years, but I still think it drives the same way. I still think it's at 1 and 2, you want to kind of stay as low as you can. And maybe after a while, you might see them maybe up one groove, but I think you're probably going to want to see, you don't want to see it be on that high side as the run goes on. As you see, Hostler, man, he dropped a lot back there.
Yeah, and, nothing to kind of panic about. Right now, we're still early in the race. Still have 110-ish laps to go. He's still got playoff contenders behind him, like Altus, Bell, Collins. So I mean, he still has other drivers behind him. So nothing to kind of panic about. Yeah, he was one of the drivers. I think he's plus 10 on the cut line. So he had bonus points for winning
Altus
a race.
One not having a playoff sticker for. He did make a playoff, didn't he?
Yeah, he's
currently,
he's currently in the lead with plus 15 with all the bonus points he brought home because he won our regular season championship for the Clean Racing Truck Series.
I'll tell you what, a track like this benefits the driving style that he has.
Absolutely. I mean, we see it on tracks like this the most with Altus. But if this race can go green, we might see one of those pit strategies that we always see from him, unless he's already going into save mode.
That's a good race back here. We're watching around with Dustin Martin on 10th place right here with Hostler. Hostler's still struggling on that outside lane, trying to see what he can get done. I mean, this is kind of a momentum style track also, even though track position is kind of crucial at this point. You see Hostler right now, they're battling with Collins. Dyer, that's around about the 11th, 12th place spot. Those two guys, man, see what they can get. You see the 67 machine there. Collins, Matthew Dyer on his outside. Gary back there, and they're still 2 by 2 as you go a little bit further on back, right here around where Eric Anderson, Clark and company is. So we're starting to see it fan out single file, but you still do got some kind of clusters here and there.
Yeah, and since we're on Eric Anderson, just so close to winning last week. He was in position, ended up being a lap short at Atlanta, and ended up missing the playoffs.
That was a wild race.
It was. Even Kenny. Even Evan Kinney missed out by like 3 points. So we had all these different scenarios and points that we were keeping track of, and Abram Goskin ended up making the transfer spot. I think he, like I said, plus 3. So it ended up barely making it, but it kind of pushed Anderson and Penny out of the transfer spot. But I mean, he's been in prime position multiple times this season. Just hasn't had the luck to go his way. Anderson has.
No, and sometimes, man, you've got to have that luck to go your way, like you was talking about earlier out there. And we've talked about like with the charter system here too. A lot of drivers making it into the field. Some drivers, man, having to race their way in. Most notably out there, Mike Kelly. He was able to race his way into the race here tonight, and right now is in the 6th place spot. So another one who has been really close, man, to trying to be put in victory lane this season. But out front, past champ Jacob Grant and Jordan Trask right there behind him. So those two drivers, and let's look where our last season champ, Ross Tatum, back here marred around about 20th spot. No, like you said earlier, don't panic. Got plenty of time, but maybe now start trying to figure out how in the world do I get to front.
right now, I know Tatum is panicking. I know he knows there's a lot of trucks in front of him. Let me go back to my points real quick. Tatum is plus 10 on the cut line. So if he has a bad points day, like finishes 15th, somewhere in there, he's not going to be hurting on points. However, I'm not going to say finish back there if he can help it. But he's given himself that buffer, winning 2 races this season, being, I believe, our only repeat winner. So giving himself that buffer, winning the 2 races, being plus 10 on the cut line, him struggling so far in this race isn't as big of an issue, say, if it was Curtis Honeycutt back there, because they're all sitting at 2,000, which is -3 on the cut line.
Gotcha. Yeah, and like you say, when you see Tatum right there, he's got the preferred line going on the inside, but see him coming off of 2, he just can't let that truck rotate up to the top. Anderson's taking that spot away, and that's why they're kind of staying glued 2 by 2. And you can see him coming into turn 3, 4 here. He's going to kind of go up. Eventually, he's going to clear Anderson, but it is still a tough place to pass. I mean, you're not going to see too many people come just barreling through the field. Now, what you will see as this race goes on, if we get a long green flag run like we are right now, you'll start seeing some guys pick them off 1 by 1. And you can see now, that looks like Tatum has cleared the 1, and this is what I'm talking about. He'll just start maybe like 1 by 1 is in front of him as they get single foul. Take this guy, take that guy. So Jacob Grant ain't got that to worry about right now as he's out front and got a good lead. Trask right behind him, Sherwood. These guys are just riding the top 3, kind of pulling away. Got almost the second lead over Honeycutt, who's sitting in 4th. He's got a freight train there with old Ghost and Kelly. So a couple trucks that are not in the play. Well, actually, excuse me, 2 of them are in the playoffs. Actually, Honeycutt, man, can he do it again? That's crazy. He came close to getting that Final 4 without winning a race. Can he do it? Can he do it this time?
I feel like this season would be his season to do it. He's been close to. He's always up front. But things kind of go wrong for him. He kind of just squeaked his way into the playoffs. He's one of those guys sitting at 2,000 right now, so he's -3. He's in the cutoff spot. Right now it's Grant, Honeycutt, Curtis, Gostin. Those are the 4 that are in the cutoff. But this season, he's been consistent. He's had some misfortune when in these situations, but he's got good drivers on his team. He's got good drivers around him. And you can see it right now. I mean, Jacob Grant, Tyler Honeycutt, Abram Gostin. Those guys that are in the playoffs, they're currently occupying the top 6.
We talk about those too, man. That's one of our title sponsors there.
Yeah, with Sports Academy, youth flag football, and super gracious to him and everyone over there. Coming on for the 2nd season, allowing us to do things with this series that we couldn't do before. Our champion gets a title belt at the end of the season, thanks to Sports Academy. Which is super cool. So last season Ross Tatum brought it home in his rookie season, looking to go back to back. But yeah, Sports Academy, youth flag football. You can check them out on sportsacademy.us. Check out everything they have over there, and super cool to have them on board, and hopefully further in the future.
Absolutely. Right now, Ghost looking good. He's up 9 spots, sitting right there in 6. A track like this, man, could probably benefit his type of driving style. We talk about driving styles out here. We watch his guys over the season, how they come through the field. As you can see now, Honeycutt, man, falls back to 5th. Kelly takes that 4th place spot away from him. Kind of how you see the passes go around here. One guy, man, shoots up underneath. Another one kind of takes that spot away. Altus is another one back here. He'll just ride and be a little bit patient. But now Lane, I think he is really. This has not been the dominating season that we're seeing from him, but maybe it could be one of these quiet seasons where he's like, you know what, I'm focused on winning that championship, because he's came close twice now, Caleb, winning that championship, being there, and then just watching it get taken away, kind of, and that's it's been heartbreaking, so to speak.
Yeah, and having been in that position before, having to come down to the championship race and losing with several laps to go, it's kind of demoralizing in a way. But he's very consistent in driving this truck. Yeah, he's been doing it for several seasons. I believe he's a two-time champion. He's won multiple championships in this series, and so I mean he knows how to get it done. Winning multiple races in the past few seasons, I think he is actually the all-time wins leader for the Clean Racing Truck Series. So, I mean, this season, I don't think it's been the season he wants, but he's in the playoffs. All he has to do is just keep consistent. He's currently plus 10 on the cut line. All he has to do is just make it to the championship race, and maybe, if luck goes his way, he'll bring home another championship to the Hostler camp. And
you're right by what you're saying there. Just because you make it to the Final Four, it's not a given that you're going to win a champ. Just because you've been dominant doesn't mean you're going to win. Like I said, unfortunately, the last two, man, Lane's been there, been a dominant truck, fan favorite, actually the favorite, but just been taken away from him. So, what it was, Altus did the one there, and then Tatum did the other ones. How you doing? Appreciate everybody out there tonight. It's been a good one so far. Kind of clean here for the Clean Racing League here at Kentucky. Kicking off the chase. Here we got the Truck Series. Grant's the man up out front, but you see Trask is slowly but surely running him down. We see the lap times out there. Last time it was a 76 and a 75. Well, I'll tell you that. You don't get any more consistent than that.
Absolutely not. And, these are two playoff drivers right here. I know Trask doesn't have the banner like Grant does, but, I mean, these two are fighting for a chance to make it to the next round, which is definitely one of the rounds of all time. I mean, it has Coda in it. So, if these guys can go ahead and lock themselves in, they can go ahead and start practicing for that road course race, which everyone seems to be dreading.
Coda ought to be a good one. That'll be coming up on the schedule here pretty soon, folks. Guys out for that one. The Trask right now, he's in this is where this track is really daunting, because you can catch someone, but after a while now those tires are pretty much giving up. They're starting to give up and give up fast. You're starting to feel it in the truck. And trying to pass him is going to be the problem, because obviously Grant has the preferred line. There really is no other line. If we see somebody blow away somebody on the outside, they've got very, 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 very new tires to do it. Would be the only way. As even as these two guys are out here, he's going to have Grant make a mistake, as we got a yellow flag.
Which is definitely going to help.
Oh, Peterson. Lucky's machine. Let's see what happens. He got the apron. Yeah, damage before, too, that we missed somewhere.
See, he had a little bit of a compromised line there coming out of turn 4, hitting the apron.
Well, you see that front, he's already got damage from somewhere, so that truck's already ill handling, and then it just loops on him. Ooh, 16, man, just skimmed by. Because that... I'm okay, there we go. Go back a little further here. Yeah, all right, here we go. There's where he got his damage. He goes on the outside of the 74. 94 barely clips him a little bit. Man, okay, so there's where the damage. And remember we was talking about earlier how Bell hit the wall. and it didn't really affect the steering. But I think here, where how he hit, you can see that that's kind of affected that steering on that front, because he starts to lose it here.
Yeah, and you know, the way he hit in the outside wall, it's going to push the right front in, and with the cars how loose they're or the trucks how loose they're getting, because we are seeing some drivers start to have to drive the car or the truck, sorry, more and more. Just going into the corner how he would before he got the damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's you kind of have to woe back the way you drive it, especially when you've bent your steering, and you're missing, because I mean we seen the bumper come off and it reappeared. That's iRacing, it happens. But iRacing treats it as if it's not there, which could hurt the handling of the car. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I'm happy that he didn't collect anyone else. I hate that we
for the 16 there.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you know he puckered up there because he's like, oh no, please don't, please don't take me out there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, hey, since you're on him real quick.
Well, that's what I was about to want to say. I want to shout out a happy birthday to Chris Smith. Wanted to do it before the race, but can't get to it in time. But I see Kathy, Caitlin. Happy birthday, Chris. And let's go, Jacob. Set it out there, and I know everybody in the Discord. And I don't know if anybody knows, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyways. But Chris Smith is actually Caleb's dad. Caleb Smith, put two and two together. There you go. So, I have the all-star kid up here in the booth with me. There you go.
I mean, I wouldn't put it that way. I mean, listen, I'm commentating for a reason, and it's definitely not because I'm an all-star. It's maybe on the road courses, but definitely not on the ovals. But I mean, the work. I will say, and I'm not saying this because he is what he is to me,
right.
But the work he's done to this league. He took the reins over from Frederick Garcia, who ran the league beautifully before, and still races, and he races for High Five Racing now, which is his team.
There's Fred real quick.
But the way this league has been run, the amount of drivers we've had on a consistent week in and week out basis,
absolutely.
Sponsors coming on board, it's really impressive, and I'm happy I can be a part of it.
And we talk about that, man. We give it all props there, and I definitely got to give a shout out last week to Frederick coming in the top 5, finishing in the top 5. So definitely got to give a shout out there. You folks out there are getting set to go back green here. Man, up front, Jacob Grant's going to bring us to the line as we go back green. He gets to jump out front. James, just answer your question really quick. You asked what do you have to what kind of class you got to be here. You got to an iRacing and actually get to a C class to even drive the trucks. I don't know if there's a limit here in the league itself. Go check out cleanracingleague.com, as we got a pass for the league, Tyler Honeycutt. Go check out cleanracingleague.com. Send them a message. We were just talking about Chris Smith is the owner there himself, who, like Caleb said, does a fantastic job of running the league. And I check him out because the next season will be starting up here in a month or so of the season. So definitely check out the Clean Racing League. You get all the info that you need as far as up to date on sponsors, up to date on schedule, up to date on what you need to maybe get involved here. So we appreciate everybody out there, man, tuning in as Jacob Grant holds off Trask. But man, right now Trask and the Honeycutt going at it for second place. Sherwood's right there behind them. And that goes back to what I was saying before. Try to get what you can get early on. You saw Honeycutt try to get that right off the bat.
Yeah, and that's the 9 and
Caleb might not know. Best person to ask would be Chris.
It is actually you have to be an A class for this series. They'll win because there is a committee that looks at it. They will look at your safety rating. That's the big one. What your safety rating is. how many incidents you know accumulate per race on average, because it is
All
the
that
clean
stuff's
race.
probably on the website.
Yeah, and you know, so they'll look at your the I rating really doesn't matter. We have guys that range from 500 to 5,000, so the I rating doesn't matter. But you know, they'll definitely look at your safety rating and you know, if you're A class or not. Sometimes a special provisional spot will be given,
Yeah.
depending on if you can, you know, if you run a recruitment race, which will be done in the off season, and you know
Ooh,
you run.
Altus
Uh,
right there almost got in the Ghost. Sorry about that, boy. Altus, man, he almost cut down. Ghost almost got in the rear quarter. That would have been disastrous because that's two playoff drivers right there battling. And we talk about that. You know, you don't want to make mental mistakes here.
No, absolutely not. And you know, these are you have two different scenarios. You have one that's in first place in the playoff standings right now in Altus, and you have one that's in last place, which is Abram God, man, sorry, Gostin, sorry. Oh, trying to
I
talk
just
too
call him
fast. I'm
Ghost,
sorry.
man. That's why I call him Ghost Man.
But but you have two drivers that are on two completely different, you know, spectrums of the playoff board. So you
Right.
have Altus, who I mean, obviously is not going to stop driving. He is, you know, he's going to push it. He's going to try to win his third championship. Um, but you also have Ghost, you know, who, and I'll go ahead and point it out. I know Altus isn't one to like it. Who won his championship because Altus and Carey had gotten into it
Yeah.
at Indianapolis in the championship race, and Ghost had snuck by and won the championship. So you know, uh,
That's why I
you
say
know,
never give up.
yeah, you know, these things happen. But yeah, I mean, you know, you're seeing a lot of these playoff drivers. You're seeing a lot of yellow right now. These drivers are really giving it their all, and they're trying to get every point they can. They know there's only 2 races in these rounds, or in the round of 12, so they're really going to be pushing for as many points as possible.
Yeah, man. Now you see him, Ghost, man, hanging on the 6th place spot. Altus hanging on to the 5th, but it's all Grant out front with Trask, Sherwood, and Honeycutt. And that's your top 4 or 5 machines. Kelly right there back in the 7th place spot. He has to race his way in, but going to be interesting to see come next season. Does he get back into the charter system? Does he try to run for championships? Been very consistent, been very good up front. You got Curtis right there behind him, another playoff driver. Collins, another one there. Hostler's been kind of quiet here tonight, but he's been in the mix. He might be looking for next week, but you got Carey holding on to that outside of the top 10 there in 11th. Dusty Martin, he's got a fan club out there watching. Ross Tatum, our defending series champion, and this is his only 2nd season. I mean, just in his 1st season, winning a championship, that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you couldn't have written it better, the script anyway. You know, we all play NASCAR Heat, and or you know, we play those NASCAR games where you know they have the career mode. You put it on rookie, and you go through and you win every race and you win the championship. I'm not saying he won every race, but I mean he won quite a few last season. You know. So he won quite a few, and he ended up winning the race before the championship to lock himself in, and won the championship race. So I mean, you couldn't have written it any better for Tatum winning in his rookie season. But you know, I feel like you know he has the most wins this season with 2. You know, he's been keeping it consistent, proving why he is the reigning champion and defending. But you know, I mean, he's currently last on drivers right now in the playoffs. So he's really going to have to, I feel like, step it up a little bit.
Yeah. And after this race here, Caleb, we'll start seeing the picture on who's going to maybe excel on into later on, maybe in the playoff. You got to get kind of through, kind of, you know, break it up. You see Hostler right there, who's kind of been struggling a little bit this track. You know, might not, again, this is not a track that is for very aggressive style driving. You can see there, you know, we talked about this place. You get very, very loose here. You got to drive this place. You got to be very light on the front. I've talked about my driving style in the past. this place really complimented it because I'm not an aggressive style driver, and you save those tires, and you can tell by going in through here. So maybe Lane right now is just trying to find a feel for how this racetrack is right now.
Yeah, and also we're not even halfway to finish yet. So yeah, you could be aggressive, and I mean just look at the line. I mean he is riding the yellow line all the way around, and that's kind of where you have to be. But he's kind of being pinched down there.
Right
Thinks
here,
better of it time to get down there.
Yeah, remember when I was talking about turn 3 is kind of deceiving, that you want to get down in there, drive it in the inside, but not the ideal way to do it. You want to kind of maybe stay in that middle and let it glide. Turn 1 right here, though, yeah, you can go all the way down to that apron, or on the white line, and be just fine as long as you can let it drift just like this up to the wall. I mean, that's perfect line right there. That's the ideal line. But if somebody's on your outside, obviously Caleb, can't do that.
No, and we're in the point now where these drivers are coming in, they've taken tires in the caution. We're about 10 laps into this run, and these tires are starting to wear. We're getting single file, and this is where a bunch of these drivers kind of thrive. Picking these drivers off one by one. As we see Hosser kind of move up the lane, now he's going to go to the inside of the 29 here, which, excellent move. But can he make it stick off the exit of the corner?
Yeah, does he? Yeah, I mean, right here it won't be too bad coming in where, you'll see Curtis will go way up the track. But yeah, it just looks like he's just struggling a little bit on that bottom side. And here comes actually Collins to the outside of him. Not sure, man. Right now, Lane's just trying to figure this place out a little bit. And this is what you're going to see the kind of racing. You get single file, and you start getting a little side by side. Guys that are better on the long run, guys that are better on the, saving those tires. You see Tatum right now up to 12th again. Dusty Martin back here. Another playoff driver in the back. Let's see, that's the number 24, Mike Haynes. Another playoff driver back here. Let's check on Crank Bell real quick. Remember, he got caught up in the wreck earlier. Well, he's maintained back there in 26th spot. Not really gained a lot, but he's not really, I'm going to say way out of it yet. But, not the night he wants. And I know he would love to probably be, several more positions up in the track.
No, and what turned into a aggressive race turned into a kind of salvage what you can type of race. He's just out here running laps, trying to get what he can, points wise, to take into next week when we go to Darlington. And he's really going to have to try and win next week. If not be close to it, top 5, top 10. I don't even think a top 10 would do it. But he's, like I said, he won a race at Daytona. And he's only +5 to the cut line, and every single other driver is currently in front of him, which is really going to hurt where he is in the playoffs when this race is over with, unless something happens on this racetrack that takes out a few drivers, which they are getting pretty close.
They're getting pretty aggressive up there. You saw it right there. I was watching with Scott Simley. He's another one of the drivers that's race his way in. Here's where the product of where you start to see guys on those old tires kind of falling back, and you see guys, man, on better tires. But you can see Altus up here. He's having a fight for his life. He's got Justin Carey on his back bumper, and we've seen a little bit of, tugging there. It doesn't take much here to send the truck sideways and up into the wall. See right there between, and then, Caleb, bringing this up, there is no, what's the word I'm looking for? Love lost between those two drivers right there. They've had their controversies in the past. We'll say it that way.
They say racing drivers never forget. And that goes for sim racing too. Trust me, I could, everything some of these drivers have done on the racetrack that has impacted my race, I still remember. But they definitely know what has happened in the past. But to answer the question about Legacy Kentucky, this is the newest Kentucky they have on the service.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. They don't race here anymore, so I don't think they'd ever rescan it. So this is just whatever the newest Kentucky is.
Yeah,
Which
I think what's happened is they repaved this track, like in real life, and I think they did. I was an aggressive move. That's what is that? That's actually
Dyer.
Dyer. Oh, and then Altus man throwing the block down the inside, but protecting that lane. Hopefully, didn't lose a lot of momentum there. Looks like he did, and it looks like he's coming on pit road. This is a scheduled pit stop.
I would like to believe so. All the SMB guys, they like their pit strategy. They like to kind of be in front of everyone, and ahead of the game when it comes to pit strategy. I believe Dyer had pitted because he was flying past everyone on the outside.
Oh yeah. Let's see, Dyer.
Which don't.
Go ahead, see what's up. Look, see where he was. Right, fast forward.
Yeah, and beautiful execution on the pit stop by Altus there. Really stopped it in the box. Of course, going to take 4 tires. You kind of be handicapping yourself if you didn't. So, wonderful
pit stop
by
the way. Matthew Dyer on 40. Well, you know what? He did pit on lap 42, but he only had a 9-second pit stop. So, he either took 2 tires or just fuel. I'm going to say he just took 2 tires, but he definitely didn't take 4 on his pit stop. Matthew Dyer didn't. Unless he took 2 on that last caution and then just took 2 this time.
Well, whatever he did seems to be working for now.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's really going to, I believe, hurt him. And, wow, what a move to the inside. I mean, he's just trying to get his lap back at this point. That's all he's doing. He's just trying to put himself ahead of everyone. And realistically speaking, if he can get to the lead, and they end up, if a caution were to come out under pit cycles or under pit stops, and he's on the lead lap, and he can somehow, get onto, up there, I think the gamble would have been worth it. But the odds in the sports books aren't adding up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just don't think it's worth it. But Dyer's always been good with pit strategies, with playing the game with the tires. So I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's won championships that way, so he knows what he's doing. Hopefully, it pays off for him.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right there. And too, from what I remember too. Back when I ran here, we ran in the officials, and you could go the entire race without changing tires, without pitting. You were on ice skates, but that was like 32 laps, 35 laps, I believe it was. And by the time you were done, you were, like I say, it was you were on ice skates, you were sliding. So. Bringing that in to here, not quite sure if they're going to be able to go. They might go that long here, but you're going to feel it in the tires. Now, things have changed a little bit as we see a massive amount of pit stops happening. We've got, Carey, Martin, Murphy, Anderson, and Turner. So it's looking like, they pitted on lap 31. Jordan Trask did. We're at lap 62, so it's kind of looking around that 31 to 32 mark. From where, like, the official was. But the one thing I'm seeing here is it doesn't look like the trucks, and again, that might be the change in how the tires and all, because I'm talking about last time I drove this thing was back in 2016 or so. So, yeah, it's been a while. So, a lot has changed. Hey. Yeah, a lot has changed since then as far as them doing physics-wise and stuff with the tires. I'm not seeing these trucks get as ill handling as they were in the past. So, I mean, they are ill handling. They are loose, obviously, but not as bad. So maybe that's a good thing. But still, tires are very important at this place. And we're seeing it, like I said, you're talking about right there with Dyer. And we're just seeing how important they are.
Yeah, and
leaders on
we're starting to see our leaders come down pit road now. Trask, Tatum. I don't think Grant has pitted yet, so we might be seeing that soon.
Jacob Grant. Yeah, he's pitted.
Oh, he has pitted.
Yes,
Okay.
he pitted at lap 60.
So it appears all of our playoff leaders have pitted,
Except for Sherwood.
which is shocking.
And Hostler.
Because
That's not pitted.
Generally
Those two
are
have not, yeah.
pit.
Yeah,
Because
they pitted at lap 31. So we've got, I'll just go ahead and tell you, the top 9 right now have yet to pit. That's Kelly, Sherwood, Simley, Hostler, Hardin, Kenny, Smith, Garcia, and Persley have all yet to they're stretching.
And you know, I think they're banking on, you know, well, what if a caution comes out?
Yeah.
You know, what if
Clean racing lead though, man. Come on.
Yeah, you know, and we've only had one bad race. It was Bristol, which you know was our infamous race, which we will no longer talk about. But you know, but yeah, I mean, it is very hard to kind of bank on a caution, especially in this series.
It does. We've talked about it a million times too.
You have races in the series where we can go flag to flag, and we're seeing Hayes with a massive run on Hardin there. And you know, he's got his teammate of the number 9, Tyler Honeycutt, behind him.
It shows you those new tires versus old tires here.
Yeah, and he is, you know, just how well it sticks on the low side there. I mean, the three barely gave him any room. I mean, he gave him a truck split, but he's, you know, he gave him just enough to squeeze by, and that was it. So, you know, good racing between the two of them. It is Clean Racing Series, or the Clean Racing League. But, you know, we're starting to get that mix now of drivers who have pitted, drivers who haven't pitted, and we almost seen it right there.
And you've got Simley right there in front of Harding at 33 and the 3. Those two guys have yet to pit. All the guys going around them have already pitted. So you're seeing new tires versus way older tires. I mean, Sherwood's still out there also, along with Hostler and Kenny and Garcia and Persley. They have yet to pit. I mean, Caleb may be breaking. This is unusual for Sherwood. I mean, we're used to seeing him come in like Altus did way early. And was it not what he wants to see in his rearview mirror? Two guys just kind of going there. Yeah, okay, y'all guys, I'm just holding my line. You go around me. But maybe make what do you think about this pit strategy?
He obviously knows something we don't up here in the booth. You know,
I'd like to know because he's doing outstanding.
Most of these guys, you know, the guys that run up front a lot, you know, and when I was racing, I had it as well. They'll run third-party telemetry services. So you know, they'll have like different apps that will tell you different things. As you see Crank Bell kind of get squirrely there off the exit of the corner. But one of my favorites was it would tell you exactly how much fuel you had, because you know iRacing will kind of lead you astray a little bit. It'll tell you one thing, and then you'll race it, and you kind of have to. I always end up 1-2 laps short going off of iRacing's fuel. But now we're seeing we're seeing Sherwood come in, but this will get these guys a green light and tell them exactly when they need to pit, if they can make it to the end, how much fuel they need to save, and you know, for you know, a casual person that's just hopping on.
He might be looking to one pit stop this time.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at. You know, just he stayed out way longer than everyone else, and you know what he could do. He could have been saving, which is very possible, which we've seen him do multiple times before. Might I add, it could work out in the end for him as long as it goes green.
Yes, yeah. Well, there you go. That just tells I had to go on board here with Hostler. You just saw him right there clutch it. They're looking to go one pit stop here because they went over 40 laps. But everyone else, I'm going to have to say, might have. to pit. At least flash and go as you see Hostler's on pit road now. Yeah, they were out there saving fuel, Caleb. You were dead on that one. So those guys that had yet to pit, they're looking at one pit stop. But you brought up that what if, as long as a caution doesn't fly.
Yeah, and that's the biggest variable, I guess, of this. You know, we have some races that go flag to flag. You know, we have one caution at the beginning of the race, lap 1, with Crank Bell, you know, going into turn 3, collecting Spinelli. But other than that, I mean, this race has been green ever since.
Oh yeah.
But you know, with where we're at right now, we're lap 75 of 120. I think it's very possible these guys could just go from here. I mean, all the other guys are going to have to pit.
Yeah, they've got to go 45 laps. Take here. Kenny's on pit road. He pitted lap 31. So if we do the math, in 41, 51, 61, 71, that's 40. He went about, what, 43, 44 laps, give or take. I mean, yeah. One would tell you that, yeah, this is a one-stop race. I mean, for these guys. Grant pitted at lap 60. So he would have to go 40. There's no way he's going the entire way. He's got to pit again.
Yeah, he's going to have to, but I mean, he knows that. He knows what he needs to do to win this race. But he also knows, because I believe he also runs that telemetry. So he also knows when Sherwood pitted. He knows when all these other guys have pitted. So he knows what he's racing against. So he just has to kind of hit his marks, stay consistent, and make sure that no matter if he has to make an extra pit stop, he will still be there at the end to win this race.
Mike Kelly is the one that came in at lap 67. He's probably the one I'm going to say that's probably going to build the lowest one that Mike can make it all the way. You've got Moyer who came in at 62. But Kelly coming in at 67, he's going to be right there on that line. I've been on to make it one more time. Obviously, we were talking about Sherwood, who came in at 71. And then, you know, Ricky Harden at 72. We just saw Kenny coming in at 75. Along with Garcia there and Hostler 73. You've got to think that they're just going to one pit stop this thing. But I mean, we know Grant, Trask, Collins, Tatum, even Altus, Honeycutt, that whole top 10, yeah, well, excuse me, the whole top 9 are going to have to pit again. Then that brings you right around to Kelly there. Caleb is he's right there in 10th. He pitted on lap 67. I think he's going to have to either try to make it the entire way, or maybe he's one of the ones that might hope for a caution, you know, maybe later on.
I feel
the
like
caution really wouldn't hurt him too bad.
I think he's a little bit too late on, or was a little bit too early to the pit stops, with how everything kind of shaped up there.
In this battle right here, this is for 56. See Altus go around Honeycutt. Parker there on the Parker's up 12 spots, by the way. One of the hard charges there, along with Bryson Clark back in 8 up 12 spot. Mike Haynes there up 11 and 10. Bradley Murphy, man, doing good tonight, 13th. He's up 13 spots. So we've had some hard charges, but still good side-by-side racing. You see Honeycutt hold him off. Altus right there along with him. He's on the inside. He's back in the 7th. Now 3 wide. Here comes Kelly. Kelly says, I'm not going to sit back. I want to see if I can't make some ways. And, you know, I like this too. You know, I've spoke about this many a times. Hey, I get it. You're running for a championship, but man, I want to win a race. And if I'm fast enough to get around you, I'm gonna race you. I'm gonna wreck you, but I'm gonna race you, and I'm gonna race you hard. I know some guys are like, nah, wait a minute, I don't want to race guys around them. They get mad. But I like to see it. I like the competitiveness in here, and Altus might be saving a little bit, I think.
Yeah, if you if you want to go on board, I mean, I feel like we'll really see it when he goes to the corner. Let's see. No,
not doing it yet, but I mean he shifted. Oh, he's on pit road.
Oh, he's pitting.
Wow. He knows he wasn't going to make it, but this is.
He was one of the early pitters, Joe.
Yeah, he pitted at lap 56. Interesting. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So
this
once
is a
he gets
gamble
here,
for caution comes out. I'll say that.
Yeah. I don't know. We have so many different pit strategies going on within the field right now between playoff drivers, non-playoff drivers. I mean, anyone at this point could win this race just off of pit strategy alone, given we don't have a caution.
Better for the race. I think that's what it's going to come down to here, is because tires matter so much. Track position's really key too. He took 4 tires of fuel. That's definitely going to help him out a little bit. See the leaders now coming on by. Jacob Grant still out front leading it. He's got a 2.4 second lead over Trask. Been dominating here tonight. He's looking to put himself in there and say, look, I don't want any questions. I'm going to the next round.
Yeah, and like I was saying, whoever wins this race tonight should go ahead and start practicing for Cody. You don't gotta worry about Darlington. You don't gotta worry about that track that should be nuked. Just my opinion. But Darlington, you don't gotta worry about that. You can go ahead and start practicing for the road course. Because a lot of people struggle on the road courses, including some of these playoff drivers. So obviously we'll be down to eight drivers then. But you win this race tonight, you go ahead and start practicing for the road course. You could win there too.
Go, that one's coming up here soon. Grant's out front, Trask right behind him. You see Tatum, see some of the lap cars there trying to come on by. Tatum, our defending series champ, he's up to 3rd. Wanting to see him, seal his deal to the next round of the chase here. Collins hanging on there in the 4th. He Mike Kelly. He just wants to come out of this thing with a good win. He's been consistent so far coming into the lead. Got a good battle going on behind him there between Ghost and Carey. That's 2 playoff drivers there. Carey. Oh, it's a playoff driver. Carey. I think he missed it, didn't he? Barely missed it.
Yeah, he missed it by a few points. But you remember last season he had won the race to get into the playoffs, and was very ecstatic about that whole win and everything. And this season hasn't had the luck. He's been caught up in a lot of wrecks. And I mean we've seen him get turned a lot this season. Last season it was Honeycutt. This season it's Carey. I hate to see who it is next season. But just unfortunate for him, hasn't been the season he wants. But I know he'll come back next season. And, he'll still contend like he always does.
So you out there, Corey? You was out click clack rolling. I got you. Deal. So interesting. Kelly came on pit road. Remember, he pitted at lap 67. He only took fuel, a 10-second stop. So that brings me back up to the question here. Sherwood pitted at lap 71. Is he going to go the distance? Or some of these other guys who pitted, trying to look here and see. Well, you got Hostler pitted at 73, 75 for Kenny. I'm gonna still say that they're going to go the distance. They're looking to go all the way.
Yeah, and at this point you have no choice. You stayed out, you lost all that time. Yeah, you're gaining it back now because you just you're gaining it back now because you have the fresher tires. But now we're starting to see all these drivers pit now. So it's going to balance out. But this is kind of the card they've been dealt, or played themselves. So we're gonna have to see it unfold. You know, we've seen Sherwood, Hostler, we've seen them do it before, so I would not be shocked if it happens again tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, right now Sherwood's looking strong. He is up to fifth. We'll see if this pit strategy pays off for him in the long run, as it's still Jordan Trask out front, and the leader came in the pit, Grant.
So
we said he's going to have to pit, and that's, Trask pitted at 63, Tatum pitted at 63, Collins 60. All those guys are going to have to pit. The only one that we're looking at here is Sherwood, maybe Simley. Simley pitted at 69. That one's close to where Kelly. As you see, Trask is on pit road, so we're starting to see some of those guys along with Collins up front come in pit lane. Yes, it's only fuel stops, but it's so hard to make up positions here, Caleb. They're not going to have the tire advantage because now, except for Altus, he did come in and take 4 tires. And we see that if a caution came out, he would actually be the first one. Well, not now. You see Jacob going around him, but if a caution came out, it actually would hurt Altus. He did take tires. Dyer took tires. Bell took tires. And look at Crank Bell. Got to give back to Crank Bell. He's up 17th. He's not giving up.
no, and he's it really has turned to a salvage what you can type of race for Crank, and it's very unfortunate what happened at the start of the race. But props to him for not giving up and staying in the race. I know a lot of drivers who would have been involved and backed out, just came back next week. So, kudos to him for staying, salvaging the points he can, and, trying to still fight for every position he can.
He's going to get a couple more right here, too, because Ghost on pit road, Curtis on pit road, Honeycutt right there behind him. So, up to 14. Like you said, pit strategies, I talked about it. He can go the distance now. He pitted on lap 85. He should be fine. That puts Sherwood out front and Harding out front. Those two guys pitted at 71 and 72. At this point, they have a 20-second lead over Kenny. Caleb, I do not see. Well, we were wrong last week because I said Anderson should just stayed out. But I don't see. If they come on pit road, the race is over for them. They're not winning. All right, they're going to be in the back somewhere.
Yeah.
But if they want to win, they're going to have to stay out. And well, Ricky Harding's on pit road. Here we go.
let's go on board. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, we'll go on board there with Sherwood and see. He's not doing it there yet. I mean, he's obviously probably saving some by not pushing hard. Let's see if he clutches in this turn here. Oh.
So
but that doesn't mean he's not saving still. He could be light on the throttle, letting off a little bit early, gliding into the turns. His last lap, let's look at his lap time. His last lap was a 32.91. Kenny ran a 32.89. 33, he's still holding pace, which, although some of the guys with newer tires, let's put it in perspective here. With guys, let's say like Mike Kelly would be the first one with newer tires. Well, my bad, Jacob Grant was the first one with newer tires. We're running a 31.52. But there's 25-second gap between them with 23 to 22 laps to go. If you do the math, Caleb, if it stays green, I don't think Grant's got enough time to run him down with a 24.6 second lead difference. Unless something drastic happens.
I'd say once you said 20 seconds, I started running the math in my head. But I am a little concerned with these fuel numbers here. And the only reason why I say that is because we've seen them saving. We seen what they were doing. Either he is good to the end, and he knows it because he saved a little bit, or he knows he can't make it, which is why he wasn't clutching.
He only went 40 laps. So he pitted at 31. He's got to go longer than that because he pitted at 71. And that's not even including if we have a green-white checker, Caleb.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes down to a green-white checker, I feel like no matter what, if we have another caution, no matter what, every person...
Well, now, at this point, if a caution actually would help him, because everybody's coming in at this point.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. If a caution were to come out now, I mean, yeah, Sherwood and everyone that's kind of on that strategy, you know, Hostler, all those guys would benefit the most. But everyone's going to pit.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's only going to trap, you know, the guys that, you know, have really been out front all day, you know, Grant, Trask, Honeycutt, you know, Tatum just had gotten up there before the pit stops. You know, those guys, it's really going to trap those guys behind. And we're really going to see a battle.
There'd be a fly in his ear right now to find out what Sherwood's doing. Oh, what's going through his mind? What do you think? What's going through his mind? And, you know, we were just looking back here. I mean, Grant has knocked 4 seconds off that lead. I mean, he's obviously running 31.99s, which is a second different. He's at 20.3 seconds. With 16 to go, obviously the math doesn't math. If it stays like it is, which you know and I know, tires do wear down. You know, the times are going to get different. But even at a second different, time's just going to run out for Grant.
Yeah, and
this is dangerous.
Right, yeah, I would say if right now, you know, you got Crank who's fighting for every position he can. You got Dyer, Anderson, Martin, all those drivers who, I think that's Murphy as well. All these drivers, they're pretty much in pace lap formation, 2 by 2. So I mean that's they were all kind of, you know, followed up behind Sherwood, who I feel like is saving a little bit. But he's also on the oldest tires. Everyone's already pitted.
Yeah, he is. You know, like I said, didn't pit since lap 71. I'm looking at the lap times between him and Grant, 33, which Rob did get a little slowed up by that huge pack we're watching right here. All those trucks just got on the lead lap, so that slowed him up, you know, pretty good. But we just see Grant just ran a 32.26, so you can already see his tires starting to go down, and that's 4 or 5 wide. This is what new and old tires get you here at Kentucky, man. Some wild racing like you're seeing. But, yeah, you were starting to see Grant now. Tires are starting to fall off. The fall-off part is happening for him. He's knocked it down to 14 seconds. 15 to go. Still, but, man, I'm going to tell you what, it's a wild one right here.
Yeah, and, you know, it is the clean racing league. They are keeping it clean, but, you know, sometimes contact happens. And, you know, we're seeing Harden right now pushing Crank Bell, you know, as he moves down to the low side. But these guys are just trying to find whatever room they can just to kind of squeak by.
Racing.
Yep, because we have a... Is that spread? Yeah, so that's spread.
Fred says, I'm getting out of here. Don't have it. He said, I trust y'all, but man, I'm still getting out of the way.
Yeah,
3 wide right there. Wow, Harding in the middle. Woo.
You know, you kind of seen Anderson kind of move to kind of block that runoff, and, you know, Hardin had the space below to kind of dive down and kind of make that inside work. Because now he's going to try the inside of Bradley Murphy into the entry of turn 3. Ooh, you seen him kind of sideways there.
Look at that. Simley, man, putting that thing in the middle.
And that's Hostler on the inside there.
Yeah, Hostler, he's back. This is around about the 15th place spot, too. You see Ricky Harding, he's going to go around it. I mean, these guys, and just to give you an idea, some of these guys pitted at anywhere between lap 90 and 96. So, we've seen some guys. Ricky Harding actually pitted at 96. A lot of the other guys around him pitted at like 90 and 91. So he does have a little fresher tires. That's why we're probably seeing him been able to make a few more moves than anything else. But watching this guy right here, he is trying to run down. But the problem is he ran a 32.56 that last time to Sherwood's 33.18. That is less than a second now. Even though he's knocked it down to 14.8, that's what I was talking about, the tire fall off. And with 11 to go, and once Sherwood got out of that, well, I was saying he got out of traffic. He still got some more around him. But, yeah, the tire fall off is so huge here. And right on board here with Sherwood there, Caleb, and see, he's saving, but he's not clutching. No, he's on pit road. Are you kidding? Wow. Well, I don't know the strategy, man. I give up. From last week to this week, man, I'm going to throw my notebook out the window.
When I seen him take the inside lane coming off of 2, I had a feeling he was coming down pit road.
But what's the strategy? What is the why stay out like that? What are we trying to gain here? Obviously hoping for a caution, but you know, we've talked about that a million times here, but now this is going to mar him in bad. I mean, Crank Bell is going to be in front of him. Obviously, he stays where he's at, but this is going to put him back in 25th. 24th spot. Sure, he's probably going to make up a few spots by the end of the race, but this is not helping playoffs here. To me, you're not taking anything away from Sherwood because he's one of the greatest on this here Clean Racing League, but not a way you want to start the playoffs. And Lane's on pit road. Wow.
I think they were trying to hold out as much as possible.
Yeah.
I don't think that they thought that they could get that far on the fuel cycle. I really think that they were just trying to stretch it as far as possible in hopes of just to kind of get them further up the field. And you know, they kind of started with that strategy.
Now what do you do?
Well, you kind of just have to finish the race out with what you've done. You know, you just kind of move on to next week, and you know, that's really all you can do. You know, they're Hostler and
how
Sherwood,
bad would this hurt him, Caleb? If let's say he doesn't finish anywhere better than 23rd going into next week, I mean, how's he sitting right now coming into these points?
So Sherwood was +5 on the cut line. So, I mean, he has a little bit of a buffer. He has a little bit of a buffer, but I mean, if he finishes top 20, you know, I mean, same thing like I said with Tatum, a top 15. Well, I mean, you're probably still going to be a little bit behind, but it's not going to be as bad if you have that cushion. And you know, right now he's going to be driving that thing like a madman just to get those spots back, just to get some points. But I mean, you know,
him and Lane actually went a lap down on his. He took 4 tires. Now Sherwood did not take any tires. He just took fuel, so he's still running on the same tires he had before. But Lane back in 28th, the lap down. He's the one really going to come out of here tonight in a hole. He's almost going to need I don't want to say a win, but you're going to need a good finish next week.
Yeah, and I think it's going to put him below the cut line for sure. You know, Hostler has +10, so he has 5 more points than Sherwood coming into this race. But I mean, this is really going to hurt both of their standings in the playoff. But you know, so far this whole race, it's been nothing but Grant.
It has. Jacob Grant, he's looking strong out front. Got a good lead, 2.5 second. Looking to put this thing in victory lane and you know, cash his ticket to the next round here in the playoffs at Clean Racing League. Jordan Trask having another good run right here, though, sitting in second. But he's got a playoff driver, a defending series champion. Ross Tatum, who's been on the bounce back, who's looking to gain as many points as he can. He's right there in third with Parker Collins. He's up 12 spot there in fourth. Mike Kelly, he's a new guy here in the league. Had to race his way in pretty much every race he's been here, and he's done quite well. He's sitting up 6 spots up in 5th place. Justin Carey bounced back, just missed the playoffs barely. last week, but still having a good finish tonight with Ghost. He's saying, hey, look, it wasn't a fluke that I won that championship. I'm going to show it too here. I'm going to see if I can't punch my way to the next round. Also having a good run, 2 and 7. Scott Simley, another one, has to race his way in. Week in and week out here too. He's up to 8. Ricky Harden, he's been a wildcat here tonight, up 19 spots in ninth and around the top 10. We got Evan Kinney right there along with him. He's up 14. So, and then outside of that is the Tyler Honeycutt, which is playoff driver. So that's a playoff driver. Altus back in 14th, another playoff driver. Who else we got behind him? Curtis right there, who's trying to make it 3 wide. Oh, I know Altus will probably go. Don't want that to happen. That's around 14th, 15th place spot. Let's see. Rob Sherwood is now up to 19th. He's been able to get a few more spots there. Crank Bell, Bill the Bounce Back is another one, up 20th. So just to name a few. But Lane is the one who's really hurting. Playoff driver. Down a lap. Back in 28th, and a white flag is out one more time for Jacob Grant. Man, it's been all his race tonight.
It has, and getting himself into the playoffs. He's past champion in the series. But he won his championship before we went to this round base, and ripping the high side there on the final lap. He knows he's dominated this race, coming home winning here tonight in Kentucky, locking himself into the round of 8.
Absolutely. Trask coming home in second. Tatum's right there along with it. Let's watch Sherwood. He's going to bring her home. Got a couple trucks that might add a fuel. Unfortunately, Lane's going to bring it home in 27th. Man, not the night he wants, but yeah, it was all Jacob Grant tonight, though. That man, he put on a clinic for him here tonight at Kentucky, putting it in victory lane for us. It was a good race here at Kentucky, man, tonight to kick off the actual chase here.
Yeah, and this race really shows what this league is. You've seen all the action from the pit stops and all of that. The pit strategies. What was going to work, what wasn't going to work. We've seen 3-4 wide action, which was, I didn't think I was going to see that tonight. But I'm happy it went. Other than the yellow on the first lap, I mean, it was green flag the whole way.
It was. I'll tell you what, man, Tatum, man, he jumped up here. He wants to get that talking to. Let's bring him up here and let's get a word with him, Caleb.
Hey, Ross, you got me?
Yeah, I got you, Caleb.
All right, man. So, coming home third tonight. Earlier in the race, we were kind of looking at you, and you were, pretty far back in the standings. But we were talking about, it's nothing to worry about. We've seen you in that position before, and as the pit cycle started to kind of happen, you were picking people off one by one. You had gotten yourself up to third, and what was the game plan going in tonight, and kind of getting as many points as you could.
Yeah, the game plan from the beginning was to stay up front, but I lagged out right before the race started, so I had to start for the pits. So luckily I got that very first caution early, so it kind of helped me catch the back of the field, and then I was able to kind of just ride around, pick people off one by one, save my tires, and I just didn't do a good job that second to last run. Second to last run, I didn't drive it hard enough, I think, and I burned up my right front more than I needed to. So if I could have ran like I did the very last run, the second to last run, I think I might have had a chance at Jacob, but he was really good tonight and he was way out there. But all in all, it was a fun race by everybody. It's always fun racing this league every week, how competitive everything is and just how clean it is.
Well, it was it was definitely an exciting one up here in the booth tonight. Is there anyone you want to thank for tonight's race?
Yeah, of course. I want to thank my wife and kid for letting me race every Monday night. So hey, Mila, and I want to thank everyone at Clean Racing League. It's been such a fun time every Monday coming out here and racing, and I got to thank my teammates. Josh Altus, Rob Sherwood, Matt Dyer, and Zach Peterson. I know it wasn't the night everybody wanted, but I think we all survived pretty good, and we'll be ready for next week at Darlington, and I think we'll do pretty good, all of us, and hopefully we can all advance. And I gotta thank you guys, OSR. It's always awesome going back and watching you guys. You guys are awesome, and everyone at the league. Just looking forward to next week and seeing what next week brings. And congrats to Jacob on the win.
All right, man. Well, congrats on your third place, and we will see you next week at Darlington.
All right, thanks, guys.
There you go, Ross Tatum, man, bringing home in third. Let's bring the man up here. Came home in second, though, man. Jordan Trask, who tried everything he could. Had a good night of finishing.
Hey, Jordan, you got me?
I got you.
All right, man. So, you you were up front all night. Starting out front. You and Jacob were having a great battle. And then, pit stops kind of took place, and we kind of seen him kind of build the gap. We were kind of worried with some of the other drivers saving, it looked like. We know you're in the playoffs. But what was your game plan coming into tonight? And what's it going to be like going into Darlington next week?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, talking to my team, we just wanted to pick the easiest strategy, pick what makes the most sense, and just try to have a clean, simple race. Practiced a lot of qualifying laps, just try to start up front and hold that track position. This league's really good at running long, and so if you have track position to start the race, as long as you stay clean, you're guaranteed a good finish. And so that was the goal, and I feel like I executed pretty well on that. I feel like I probably could have had a fight for Jacob, but I wasn't super smooth on my green flag pit entries, and just couldn't quite navigate traffic as well as him. He put up a great race, and had some fun battling there at the end with Parker Collins and Ross Tatum to hold on for that podium position there.
Well, it was definitely exciting watching it up here in the booth, watching everything unfold. Is there anyone you want to thank for tonight's race?
Yeah, big thanks to the team as always. They helped me get that win last week to get some playoff points coming into the playoffs, and super happy to back it up with a second place finish. We did a lot of practice together this week, and hopefully we can keep it going into Darlington. I don't have much experience there. I've only ever raced there once or twice, so definitely we'll have some practice to do. But thank you guys for the broadcast, and thanks to everyone who puts this league on.
Absolutely. Well, congrats on your second place tonight, and we will see you at Darlington next week.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Yo, second place, man. But this guy here had the field covered tonight. Jacob, join the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's going on, Joe?
Well, you dominated most of the night here tonight, but I gotta ask, was you a little worried on maybe that strategy that we had no idea what Sherwood was on? Did you think maybe he was like, is he going to make it all the way?
To be honest with you, no. I honestly I knew he was going to end up having to pit. There was just no way that he was going to be able to stretch it that far. Evan did, but he lost so much time. And even if he was going to be able to stretch it that far, I was catching Rob so fast that I would have just passed him with 2 or 3 to go and went on and won the race as long as the caution didn't come out.
Well, I tell you what, you dominated tonight. Looked pretty good out there. Got to ask, how was the tire wear on this track? I know this track eats some tires up pretty bad.
Honestly, it wasn't too terrible for me. My right front tire and right rear tires were at 73% and 87% in every single stop that I took tonight. So consistency pays off, and that got the job done for us and led every single lap almost.
Oh, absolutely. You dominated tonight. Seems like they might have changed a little bit here in Kentucky from what it was in the past with the tire wear there. So, but hey, didn't slow you down. Got you in that next round, man. That's, so how does that make you feel going into next week, going into the Dover?
Darlington, but
Darlington,
it helps me out. It helps me out a lot because I absolutely hate Darlington. I'm going to go off of what Kyle Petty said, and I think that we should just fill it up with water and have bass fishing tournaments in there and get out there and see who can catch the biggest bass.
No doubt. Well, I'll tell you what, but going in, like I say, your mentality is now you can go in there, man, and kind of just see as many points as you can get because you are, punched your ticket into the next round there on the chase. But got it in victory lane tonight, dominating fashion. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Caitlin for watching every single race and supporting me in my iRacing journey and CRO. Everybody who is a part of CRO, you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's love going back and watching it. Got a brand new paint scheme out here tonight by Grant Designs. It was really really fast. It had fire orange on it, and it was definitely fast. So it helped me out. And happy birthday to Chris Smith for turning what seems like 177 years old today. So happy birthday to him, and hope he had a good day.
I tell you what, man, like you said, you had a fantastic day, and Caitlin always out there supporting you as always. Again, congratulations on that win tonight, Jacob.
Thanks.
All right, man. Jacob Grant, go put it in victory lane. Like I say, give another shout out there to Chris Smith. Happy birthday to him. But it was a good race. I mean, Caleb, and I guess, you know what? I'm going to put my calculator away when it comes to the pit strategies because the last 2 weeks I've been way off on it.
I think we both have, if I'm being honest. I mean, watching what they're doing, I mean, we know what they're doing. We can call it from before we even go into their in-car and, watch their gauges. We know what they're doing. But the execution, I feel like we don't know what's going to happen. There's a bit of uncertainty to what is going on the racetrack from what we're seeing. But, nothing like a little excitement to give the viewers something to watch. But what a great race here at Kentucky tonight. That it was definitely better than I feel like a lot of people thought it was going to be. With the action we've seen from the pit stops to the lap cars and seeing everyone try to navigate, it was just very exciting to watch.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to leave a track here tonight with the guys. We're on the edge to a track next week. You're definitely going to be up at the edge of it. We'll go to Darlington. Lady in Black. Folks, it was a good one tonight, though. For myself and everyone, have a good night.